Some few weeks ago, when I was informed that I am requested otherwise to deliver a speech, my mind has been racing restlessly as I tried to find a substantive topic to present on. I wrestled and tussled between thoughts until I finally came to a complete standstill. Today I am standing here in front of you on this very evening to deliver to you a speech based on this specific topic. Ole tape ombeli omori ngwangwano ne piagano lilimo katika unjuka. Who is to blame? Director of ceremonies at the very onset, I also wish to admit that I was hesitant deciding on this topic. My hesitance was necessitated by the fear that this topic may ignite some emotions in some of you. Huge emphasis fell on the word confused. Engwangwano, okungwangwana, nengeyangwangwana. One person may be brought to a point where tiyada tapuri kurondino kucha olengwe kurombere kucha kunjuko ya ngwangwana nengwangwano lya kunjuko elimono nini. Allow me therefore, before I get carried away, to share with you and the rest of everyone my reasoning. Allow me to state the facts that compelled me to unapologetically conclude that yes, indeed, we the youth are confused. With my eyes, I have seen roaming in and around the streets at whatever time of the day, filling up bars and hookah shops, a huge number of us, the youth. With my eyes, I have seen people of my age and younger carrying bottles of heavy liquor in those bars, dancing to loud music and busy gambling. I told myself, we are confused. With my own eyes, I have read in the newspapers and in other news almost every day of the week. One or two people are reported dead. Not just dead, but killed in a gruesome manner. Who is the suspect? Omunjuka. With my ears, I'm hearing wails and screams, voices of crying and in agony. Our parents crying in loud voices, their children are practicing evil deeds. Here and there, young people are killing one another mercilessly and recklessly. Comrades, I do not want to believe at my age that these things are perpetrated by people on their right minds. I am therefore reiterating unapologetically, we are confused. At some points, I have seen sisters and brothers running around like headless chickens. They are parading from this church to the other one, flapping arms up in the air and yelling, I receive, to some fellow known papas. They are told to do some things by the apparent Holy Ghost, disgusting acts, all hidden behind a smoke screen called deliverance and purported breakthrough. I call this confusion. Ladies and gentlemen, let me assume that the aforementioned facts serve as the solid foundation and thus the sole basis of my topic. Allow me therefore to get into trying answering this question. Who then is to be blamed for this confusion? In any normal circumstance, whenever there is a serious situation where one has to be blamed for anything, one person will always want to point their fingers in the next person's direction. Similarly, I took time to ask some few fellow youth on who they feel should be blamed for the pervasive confusion that's amongst us. Unsurprisingly, they pointed out so eloquently to the following things. Some of them said, our parents, the way they brought us up is questionable. Some said, no, it's modernism. Some said, no, it is the false prophets that are to be blamed for this confusion. These are but some of the bodies that were pointed out to be blamed for the confusion that is amongst us, the youth. However, I'm standing here on a different ground. I wish to distinctively differ. Today, I want to enunciatively admit on my own behalf and that of other honest-driven youths. I want to point this finger at no one else but at myself. I am to blame. I am to blame for my enigmatic confusion. I am to blame for almost everything that is happening to me. I am to blame. I am trying to insinuate that we cannot point out at anyone without starting with our own selves. Ladies and gentlemen, let me not act like a certain electionist and unknowingly elongate this speech. This is how I think we are to be blamed. The following points are trying to cement why I am saying we are to be blamed. Misconception and misconstruing of things. This is a terrible disease. The young people of today, we have a common tendency of misunderstanding and misinterpreting things, terminologies and situations. We divert from the original and true meaning of terms and develop our own interpretation that fits our desires. Let's look at one word, freedom. By the way, can someone please explain or rather define for me what freedom is? What is freedom? Yes, it's to be free, but to be free to do what? To say what? To what? What is freedom? Can somebody please just stand up? What is freedom? Comrades, what is freedom? Say. Whichever language we use.
Just to be free.
To do anything that you will, that you wish to do. That is exactly what we perceive freedom to be. We feel that freedom of speech, freedom of choice, freedom of is the liberty to do anything that we wish to do. Many of us feel that freedom means we are at liberty to do whatever we please, wherever we see fit, however we feel, and whenever we want it. We feel that freedom of speech is an unending opportunity to say whatever to whoever. We sadly misconstrue that freedom of choice is an undeniable opportunity for us to choose to be whoever we want to be, wherever we choose to be. This misconception of freedom has plummeted a whole lot of us into confused situations. We make wrong choices, very wrong choices, that at the end of the day will confuse us tremendously. Another point, following bad examples, lack of analyzing abilities. Many young people do things we do not even know. This is not a joke. It sounds funny, but it's true. We find ourselves involved into things we do not know. We find ourselves saying things we do not know. We find ourselves hanging around people we do not know. and at places we would never be. This is all because we never understood all this at the very beginning. We do things because other people are doing so, and we just follow suit. My friend, even things that are visibly, evidently, and explicitly stupid, crazy, and naive, we don't mind. So long our friends are doing that, we too just follow suit. We lack the ability and skills to critically analyze the situations. We opt rather to go with the flow. Black, dark tunnels come. We go through even where there is no light at the end of it visible in sight. If our friends are going through, we follow nonetheless. What's the end result? Confusion. This will take me through to my next point, ignorance. My Bible, in Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3, it tells me, the prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. Director of ceremony, I have made this point the last of my points because of its complexity. If honesty wasn't as rare as it is nowadays, we will all admit that many of us know the truth. If we haven't heard of it, we have seen it. Many of the young men and women that we are hearing in prison today because of murder, for example, knew exactly that killing was wrong. But they simply just ignored this truth and went ahead killing. This prevalent behavior has robbed us of our dignity and humanity. We do things just because they make us feel good. We ignore the consequences and just move on until everything is down. When we finally have to put everything that was down back into their rightful places, that's when we lie to one another. It was a mistake. Some mistakes are not mistakes at all. We knew what would happen, but we ignored. Let me tell you a story. This is not the Sarah that you know. This is a Sarah, a young girl in my village. At one moment in life, she went astray. I spoke to her on numerous occasions, tried to correct here and there this girl, and she rejected. On all occasions, she told me off and told me to just simply and successfully back off. I remember vividly on the last occasion, she told me she knew exactly what she wants and she knew what she was doing. She even went further to tell me that whatever she uses wherever she goes, she doesn't hire it from me. So I must be relaxed and drink my water as I mind my own business. I never hesitated. I bought a 5 liter of Bon Aqua and started drinking that. And yes, indeed, minding my own business. Before I could finish my water, Sarah called me. She was crying. What is wrong, my sister? She was pregnant. The boyfriend denied the pregnancy, and she was chased out of the boyfriend's flat. I was listening to Sarah's story. I asked her calmly, Sarah, my dear, I understand your situation, and I'm not sorry. So what exactly is that you want me to do for you? Sarah told me, I don't know, Ayeshe. It was a mistake, and I am confused. Director of ceremony, remember that this is not the same Sarah. This is a new Sarah. Because the Sarah that I'm seeing now is not the Sarah that knew what she was doing and told me to back off. I was now trying to understand what between all that Sarah did was a mistake. Was it being chased out too? Was it falling pregnant? I never knew. What was the mistake? Sarah could have avoided all this only if she listened to the simple, frail, and that the son used a word, slender Ayeshe. I am still drinking my water though, because she told me to. I know there are a lot of Sarah out there in our societies. People that ignored the truth and went on to appease themselves. When the sweet became bitter, they call it a mistake. Look at confusion. I'm not here to tell a lot of stories, but I feel I will fail in my duties as a speaker here today, called a motivational speaker by God's grace. I will fail in my duties if I leave this podium without providing some piece of advice to my fellow youth. I guess that's what I was even supposed to do as a motivational speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow young men and women, the everyday song that is virally sang that we are the leaders of tomorrow shall fall. We are the leaders of today, man. By this I mean we shouldn't wait for tomorrow in order to ascend the leadership roles. We should start now, today. How then are we going to do that if we are this lost? How then are we going to make that possible if we are this confused? If we are to look for a way today, this must be the way out of this confusion. A way towards realizing ourselves and work jealously towards achieving our earthly mission. All of us here were created for a purpose. We are all created to be somewhere doing something useful, being relevant. I wish to appeal therefore to you, comrades. Please, let us do this. Let's try to work out a clear definition of what some terminologies really are supposed to mean. Let us do away with a colonized mind that always thought that freedom is a right to do whatever we please and enrich our minds with us and souls with a true definition of what freedom is. We should understand freedom as the opportunity to do what is right. Let us not misunderstand freedom as the right to do whatever we please, but rather the right, the opportunity, the liberty to do what is right. As a matter of emphasis, the God we serve doesn't work with rights. Instead, he works with what is right. So, Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, there's a statement that says, and I quote, "My people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. It is wise to accumulate as adequate knowledge as possibly possible." Let us do away with ignorance, comrades. Let us stop doing things that we are 155% sure that are wrong. Let us also seize the bandwagoning tendency. Analyze, examine, and establish a clear comprehension of things before you indulge into heinous activities. Remember always that you are created to please God and God only. I mean, people are a lot, man. How will you please each one of them? Come to think of it, it's even annoying in a way. Guys, let's stop trying to pretend in order to please them individuals. We are who we are, and that is it. Conclusively, Master of Ceremonies, I would like to encourage all of us here to stand up and look up. The future that we see shining in front of us is ours. But the dark tunnel that we see before us is what we have to go through in order to get to achieve that bright future. in passing through this tunnel. The truth of the matter is that the tunnel is as dark as possible, and it's even getting darker from time to time. Anything is possible in that tunnel, that is the truth. By anything I mean from fatalities to even death. What we need in this tunnel, therefore, is awareness. We need to focus on the light, but we have to be aware of the darkness that we have to pass through in the same tunnel. Because it is only after succeeding to pass through the dark tunnel that we can get that bright future. Be careful, take it slow, step by step. Make sure your feet are firmly on the ground. Oh, and that they are feet that would be Nasatorongane Karangi Yagaruki. Arungi Yagaruki Desha Apapi feet or Hatije feet. So make sure your feet are firmly on the ground. However, be warned that at times you may fall flat on a wet and smelly grounds of a tunnel. Pick yourself up and move on. If you stay down, mind you are not the only one in this tunnel. People will grumble on you. They will stomp on you, and you may never get up. It's dark in there, no one can see. Stay as close to the walls of this tunnel as possible, holding onto it for strength and balance. Speak to the walls as often as possible. The walls of this tunnel will listen. Focus on the light at the very end, with an unabated assurance that it is your future. Maybe I spoke in parables, but it's okay. Director of ceremonies, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to close off with wise words from the Holy Book. In the interest of time, I will just give you the verses so you go read it. John chapter 16, verse 32 to 33. John chapter 16, verse 32 to 33. First, Corinthians chapter 16, verse 13. And Proverbs chapter 21, verse 16. And John chapter 16, verse 32 to 33. Na Korinto yotango chapter 16, verse 13. Namaere Tunguro chapter 21, verse 16. Are we good? Okay, John 16, verse 32 to 33. According to your tango, onopolwa very sono manandatu. No maire tumbro mino combine na imwe. O very say hamano. With these few words, Director of Ceremony, I wish to thank you. And thank you very much, guys, for listening.